Welcome to Momentous Doge, Episode 2, Always on Clock, where we learn exactly why you should always play on clock, and how much that hurts when you try to learn a new guild. Back from steamcon, and excited to do some more casual cheating on stream. So let's get into it. So, I'm playing Corsair Fish, and Nick is going to end up playing Blacksmiths with the Hearth pair, the Ferrite pair, and Furnace and Cast. We had a bit of a talk about it, and we sort of think that if you're in the punching game, you want Cast over Cinder, but Cinder does come back in for some specific matchups where they might try to kill the ball on the ground a lot, and or you might actually be able to hit that tackle on 3. It's a bit rough when you're sort of looking at a team of 4-1 dudes or some close control dudes. It's not exactly the most useful. So, here we promptly start setting up and then remember plots. Woo! Good times. I have picked Corsair, Kraken, Sakana, Tentacles, Grayscales, and Siren 1. So Corsair kicks 6 speed, 6 kick, 4 speed, 6 kick is a bit hard to go for the risky kicks I normally like, so we just end up taking a punt over the line. Influence is fairly standard. Nick's put like 2 on everyone. For a bit of a balanced first turn here, I think he's fairly committed to the kick down the line plan. I've obviously stacked Corsair up and given Siren just enough to threaten some on that side, just in case he makes an early mistake with positioning the ball. So he picks it up, kicks it back, then he's going for a kick along the line here. I thought this was a bit like suboptimal, not wrong. I feel like Aloy would have been quite a value striker if he could have taken it, but I appreciate that that's quite close to the middle, and he's correctly evaluating here that I'm just going to sit on Corsair. I've gone a few activations deep and hope he screws up. So, he's staying out of charge range, but if I want to spend the influence to drag, he seems okay with that. So he's got his 8-inch widget out here. This is, I think this is probably correct. He can't stay out of drag range with everyone this turn, so he may as well be in range with everyone, just don't give me the ball. And that will sort of allow him to have a much better second turn than if he was holding back with everyone. I've kept Corsair and Siren for last because I want to see what I can get out of this. Here I'm looking to see if I can pull Aloy in, because I would really enjoy killing Aloy turn 1. That would be magic, but it's not going to happen for me. It's a little bit out of range. So what I'm measuring up is to pull Cast in. Obviously, I want to kill an Apprentice, because there's no way I'm getting through some of those tankier Masters, which is why I didn't take the Furnace bait straight up. Even dragging Furnace in, I'm going to struggle to chew through that guy with a Corsair team and no ANG, and Sakana's probably not ideally positioned for that either. So here's Siren lures, and then we remember that Furnace will get to free strike her. He's not going to hit the knockdown, but what he does get is the Mom 1 and putting her on fire. It does give me the -1 armor effect as well, but it stops me getting to hit with Siren again, which is quite nice. That sort of seems okay. Blanks of momentum. He's not really going to care about that fire on his own guy. This seems quite solid. Here, he is going up the flank. He runs up with Iron, and I think this is a bit odd. Looking at this on camera, it triggers me that I'm once again going around the back of someone with my captain. Bad flashbacks here. Bad flashbacks. However, this is not going to turn out atrociously like that one did. What we're going to do is we're going to hook Ferrite in, and we managed to get the proxy base's position so that a drag will pull her into an extra 2 melee ranges. However, didn't go exactly as planned. You can see what I mean about the always on clock here, because Nick is it is his first time playing a new guild, and he is bleeding clock quickly. He's not playing that much slower than me. He's probably actually playing a bit faster. It's just taking him a while to get through everything. This isn't the greatest of streamed games because of that, but it does sort of get across how we sort of look at the clock in the game as part of the game, and you need to learn about the clock with your team almost as much as about the actual team. We also find that if we turn it off for a game, we sort of get used to turning it off, and that's not good for you. So here, things have gone along. I'm probably not winning this roll. I mean, look at that. That 4-stack. So, I end up with the ball on my turn. I wish I was a bit further back. I'm sort of standing next to 2 sweet strikers. Ferrite is knocked down, but Aloy is looking a bit threatening for my tastes. I think this is sort of 50-50 at this point. I've put some damage into Ferrite, but he's got all his guys up the table sort of unmolested. I'm not entirely sure what his plan is. I think he was not anticipating me to go for Ferrite, maybe? So, Nick's got a fairly spread amount of influence. He's obviously stacked up Aloy, which is probably correct, I would think. I've sort of sprinkled it around again. The 2 on Kraken is going to be a trap for me later in the turn. It's just, I really like Kraken. He gets some sweet plays here. You can probably guess what I want to get out of it. So this is a bit of an odd go first for me. Nick moving Furnace, I don't really understand. He kills up Aloy, and then I try to blind Aloy with the Octopus and miss. And then he comes around with Hearth. I would have gone earlier, but I am probably incorrect. And he gets what he wants in the end, because I punch for a push Ferrite, and then walk Corsair up, hoping to free up that line for Kraken to release Iron off the pitch, maybe? With a charge and a gang or 2. And this is a terrible misplay. I end up sort of in the middle of shit. With all of his guys, not all of my guys, which is not a great position for Corsair. It's not the level of mistake of, trying to kill Hoist with Corsair, but it sort of puts my game in the hole a bit, and I'm not a big fan of what this does to my mid-game. I'm a bit under pressure from his team now, because too many of my guys are trying to push into or run through his guys, and that's a bit average. So here Iron has a go and does a bit more tickling. Not entirely sure about this either. I feel like he should have done something. At this point, he's starting to run out of influence, and I've got a bit left on the table. And that's a dangerous place to be when you're playing against fish. So, he comes in with Iron, does some dirtling. I believe he breaks the tackle this activation with Corsair. And that fast ground on the side is being quite full of value for me, I think you could say. So Carnage goes over and he weak points Ferrite. This is a bit telegraphy, but now that my Iron plan is out of the way, I sort of want to get my value out of Kraken's influence by killing Ferrite. It's a bit ropey, possibly. So here, Aloy goes into Corsair, and we learn that even with Tough Hide, they tooled up Aloy wrecks house. Corsair gets super close to dying at this point, and I'm not a big fan. I did not anticipate this being such a big deal. Aloy steals the ball and then buggers off with Back to the Shadows. That Hearth Aloy interaction is quite big. I really wish I'd killed Aloy first turn now. Even taking the drag and seeing what came out of that, but you know, live and learn. What are you going to get? So Kraken goes in, he deploys the beats. He's got gangs and crowds, and I think he's managed to stay out of Iron. That's what that proxy base was for. But even killing Ferrite here doesn't exactly advance my game plan hugely. I don't think I actually did kill Ferrite there. So Castia is just tying up people. She's sort of trying to bog down everyone. Here, Grayscale sort of makes the end run through their lines. He takes a weird, they go... No, he walks and stands in the middle. So he's unpredictable the way from cast, and he walks and stands in Furnace's melee range. Hits Aloy, only gets the Mom Dodge out, which is fine. Same as if I'd weird they go functionally, and now I get a momentum for it. So we hit Aloy, and we tackle. This is average. So not a super lot's happening here. So we're sort of closing out the turn with Iron going. He's going to proxy base and bump Kraken. Then he's going to bump Corsair forward out of Hearth's melee range, which I'm not entirely sure was ideal. He's positioned them pretty exactly, so whatever he was going for with this Corsair bump was obviously important enough for him to want to free up Corsair. I'll take it. Totally. So we sort of round out the turn. Grayscale has the ball and Ferrite's dead. He's going first. He's up a large number. So this is still mostly anyone's game. Nick is, however, down 10 minutes, which is not ideal, but you know, that's what happens when you play New Guild on the clock. He's sort of starting to get pushed out of the game just by his own clock, which isn't ideal for a stream game, but you know, what you got. Here, it's the usual Aloy show, I guess. Aloy punches the ball off Grayscales after taking 2-inch melee from Hearth. He goes for what I think is a bit of a risky punt. Turns out to not be so risky. He considers punting downfield, but I think he should have punted downfield. He goes for punting upfield, which I think is a bit risky. That's quite close to the board for him to be kicking the full 8. But he gets it, played for and got. So he goes into pretty much the perfect position. He repositions Aloy and gets on the box. I start going with Corsair and then think, oh, maybe Sakana can get that. It's pretty far, but no, he can't get it. So Corsair ends up on plan, walk around all the 2-inch melee ranges. Thank you, Iron's bump, and gets in on Aloy. He starts going to town, putting the beats into Aloy. This may have been a little optimistic. Box cancels out grayscales. On his own, Corsair may or may not kill Aloy. The rolls didn't go super well for me, but Aloy ends up on quite low health. So I'm just hoping that whoever goes next sort of prioritizes those momentum over healing Aloy. And, you know, that's sort of what I've got at this point. That bull is going to sit there waiting until Sakana goes and gets it for someone. And that's just going to happen. So here, Ferrite is hoping she can make some value. She's going to walk in acrobatics into grayscales. I thought there was sort of some tricky bullshit he could have done here, but he's, you know, obviously low on time. He's sort of starting to just make plans and do plans, which, while playing a new guild on the clock sort of pushes you into not playing optimally, it also does get you, you know, more games in, and that sort of will on its own iron out the shitty parts of your play. So here, Grayscales is just gonna dirtle away. He's been disarmed by Ferrite, but he just rolls the dice and manages to take Aloy off with his measly couple of points anyway. And he sort of positions himself in snapshot range. Go Grayscales. This is not amazing for Nick. He's sort of used Ferrite already. I thought maybe like the disarm really helped make killing Aloy a bit ropey. But if he'd saved Ferrite, he might have been able to get in between Grayscales and the goal and sort of disrupt in like another way maybe. Instead, he's sort of forced to use the rest of his team to just dirtle. I think he sort of focuses on maybe he'll kill the octopus. Killing Kraken isn't really going to happen. Siren's a bit far away, and there's no way he's killing Corsair. Thought he might have charged Furnace back and tried to kill Grayscales, but I can't remember if Unpredictable's procced. I think it has. So, here we go with Sakana, and we kick to Grayscales for the snapshot. Bonus time to snap in, and good times, thank Christ. So, Nick's down 8-0, and he's got 5 minutes on the clock. This is pretty much game over for Nick. But he's stoically going to play through. It is possible for him to still win this. He would need to pretty much go 3-0 and do it lightning fast. But he's got Aloy coming back on here, and he's probably going first, I think. So, oh no, it's a reasonably even roll. Okay. Yeah, it's a reasonably even roll, and he does go first. So he brings Aloy back on. I'm sort of looking at this like, what is even happening? We sort of commit to the Siren is going to steal it plan. She's not going to keep it away from them because she actually needs to go into his lines in order to deposit it anywhere meaningful. So she gets the seduced. Aloy gets the kick. These are both reasonably reliable. He isn't too happy about this, but it could be a lot worse, I think. He just has to have Ferrite come round. Here she goes. And I think this is sort of where he gave up on the game. If he'd kicked it to cast, or kicked it to an engaged Furnace, cast is pretty... I thought cast was in there, but maybe she wasn't. Someone who's safe is safe, but if Furnace could take the dodge off a successful pass into melee, it'd be a bonus timed up to 3 looking for a 5, so it's a bit risky, but that would actually put him back in the game. He could score, kill Siren here with Aloy if he was lucky. It's at least a path back into the game. Then all he needs is he's got an easy takeout maybe if Siren comes back somewhere dumb, or he could just go for banging in 2 more goals. But he's not sort of, it's clock pressure. Does that to you. But you can watch the replays if you're sweet like us and have recorded games. Yay! You can watch your misery back over. It's one of my favourite things. So instead, Corsair's just going to dirtle around. Derp. I'm not going to get that ball. That's a turn or 2 away. Siren could come back on and get it, but none of my other guys are close enough, so I'm just going to smash them guys. Nick is going to give me 2 clock points to round out this game. It's not the greatest stream game ending, but, hashtag content. This is sort of not what I would think was a typical Corsair game. Corsair ending on his side of the table. Odd. Very odd. But the kicking the ball behind a fish team is very classic game against fish. He sort of picks up a few points here at the end, but the writing's on the wall. We're just playing it out for the stream because we're not Christian Mets. Not a sledge. That game was actually really interesting to watch. So this is sort of the end of it. I really enjoyed getting back into actually playing Guild Ball after a bit of a week or 2 off post steamcon. Really enjoyed steamcon. Met a bunch of great people. JJ's a dickhead though. And shout out to all the Wank Dungeon people that I got to meet. Even got to play a game against at Orange, who was the nicest guy ever. And put up with all of the Immortal Tater jokes very well. So, yeah, we're back on it. Should be back to a game a week, hopefully. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the stream. Leave all your sledges in the comments and or hit me up on the Wank Dungeon. Cheers.